If you can just wait for the red line.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome councillors, the press and the public who have joined us for the Town Council's Property and Personnel Committee meeting. This meeting will be held under the regulations allowing local authorities to meet formally using remote technology. Remote meetings are still a very new experience for the Town Council, so please do bear with us while I set out this meeting, how this meeting will be conducted. The Town Council is using Microsoft Office Live events platform to hold this meeting. Our standing orders have been updated to allow this to happen by the adoption of the remote meetings protocol and procedure rules. This meeting is being streamed live and is available to view on our website. It is very important for everyone joining this meeting, whether they are viewing or participating, to switch all mobile devices to silent for the duration of the meeting. It is also important that those of you who are participating keep your microphones on mute using the toolbar on your screen when you are not speaking to reduce the disruption from background noise. At the start of the meeting, the Town Clerk will ensure that those members and officers required for this meeting are present by calling a register and asking each to confirm that they are present. Throughout the meeting, councillors should have the chat window open, as this will enable you to indicate when you wish to speak or if you have to leave the meeting. It is important that you can see this window, as this is the mechanism that will be used to monitor participation throughout the meeting. The Vice Chair or Assistant Town Clerk may prompt me if there are any questions or statements from members that are outstanding. When your name is called, you will need to unmute your microphone using the toolbar on your screen and wait for the word live and the red line to appear around your screen. And please ensure that you speak clearly. Most decisions will be made by the general assent of those present. However, if a vote is required, each councillor's name will be read out by me or the Town Clerk in alphabetical order, and you will be asked to state whether you are for, against or abstain. If at any time the Town Council's technology fails and we need to adjourn the meeting for a short period, I will confirm this and ask all those present to turn their cameras off and mute their microphones while the problem is rectified. I will then confirm when the meeting resumes. We can only monitor our technology and cannot halt the meeting if a member of the press or public experiences technology issues. I will now ask the Town Clerk to carry out a roll call of all officers and councillors and ask you to confirm that you are present. Thank you. Over to you, Peter.
Starting with yourself, Chair, Councillor Chase.
Present.
Councillor Baker.
Present.
Councillor Price.
Present.
Councillor Rhodes.
Present.
Just to double check on the ex officio, Councillor Malloy. No. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you. Mobile phones. Members are reminded to switch their mobile phone devices to silent for the duration of the meeting and are asked to note the previously approved protocol for remote meetings, which is in place for the duration of this meeting. Item 2, apologies. We have no apologies, Peter?
That's correct, Chair.
Thank you. Item 3, declarations of interest. None, I believe, Peter.
The standing declarations have been noted on the agenda, Chair.
Sorry.
And any members or officers who have any additional can either speak now or need to say so before the item. So the question is, are there any now? I think we'll take that as no, Chair.
We'll take that as a no. Moving on to the next item, item number 4, minutes. These are on pages 3 and 4 of your agenda from the meeting of the 2nd of December 2019. If everyone is happy with the minutes, these will be approved and arrangements be made for them to be signed at a later date. This will be reflected on the minutes of this meeting. Is everybody happy with these?
Agreed. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item, the public forum. In accordance with the remote meetings protocol, which has been introduced by the Town Council, any members of the public wishing to address the Council or any of its committees during remote meetings should have emailed their submission to us a clear day before the meeting. I believe we have one, Peter.
We do have that, Chair.
Can I leave you to deal with that one?
Oh, you caught me on the hop there. You can do. You'll have to bear with me 1 second now, Chair.
Yeah, I do apologise. I was going to speak to you about it earlier, but I had a technical issue as well.
I do apologise, Chair. My Outlook had decided to close down. Right. Sorry about that.
No, my fault, Peter. We discuss it with you at 10
Yes,
past.
the question is from Mr. Derek Chester, and I shall read it verbatim. Hi, please find a brief public representation to Property and Personnel. I hope that the government will consider making permanent the ability of councils to hold meetings virtually. There is much greater awareness of the work of local government by being able to view meetings at leisure online. There is also the benefit of reduced travel and increased availability of rooms for other bookings when allowed again. It also guards against the public view of various issues being assessed from the small number of people who attend physically, rather than the view of the community as a whole. Then moving on, he goes on to say, I hope that the gradual return to the office for those who cannot work from home will prioritise the museum documentation project. Perhaps the area that they work in will have to be sealed off from the public for now. A viewing window, maybe. In addition, perhaps bookable slots for household groups of an hour could be considered for visitors to the museum. Also, this seems the opportunity to crack on and fully implement an electronic banking system, including card payments at reception and online, perhaps allowing online sales of items at reception. Thank you for upping your online presence, something to be hopefully continued. Best wishes to you all, Derek Chester. So the response that has been put together is, thank you, Mr. Chester, for your comments and good wishes. I will respond by addressing your points in the order that they have been made. As the Mayor said in his introduction, remote meetings have been quite a challenge and look set to continue at least until September. Their future is out of our hands, but your comments are noted. The museum, as you state, is closed to the public for now and will remain so until the government rules say otherwise, and also when we can ensure the safety of visitors and staff. Work on the collection documentation project has continued throughout the lockdown, and museum staff have returned to the Manor House principally to focus on that project. We will look at what arrangements can be made to facilitate visits in accordance with the government guidelines when it is issued, and your suggestions are noted. Regarding the electronic banking, officers are in contact with the Town Council's bankers to bring this forward, and we thank you for your suggestions. These are certainly ideas for the future that we will be looking into. And that ends that response, Chair.
Thank you, Peter. Chair's report and urgent items. I will ask the town clerk to advise if there's any urgent items, and there are none.
There are none, Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item, officers' reports. Please turn to page 6 in your agenda papers, and I will ask the town clerk to take us through these reports.
Thank you, Chair. The first one is the absence monitoring report. This is one we bring to each meeting of this committee and shows the trends over a 10-year period. The figures are fairly self-explanatory, but I thought I'd just add something to the report, which is, unsurprisingly, sickness since lockdown has fallen significantly. I say unsurprisingly because obviously if people haven't got contact with other people, they don't tend to pick up so many bugs, not only coronavirus. So these figures will hopefully take a positive, even more positive turn. But I'm happy to answer any questions otherwise on the report, Chair.
Does anyone have any questions? I'll take that as a no. Uh, 7.2 COVID-19. Peter, to summarise the report and hand back.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is a report that's going to run through several of the committees through this cycle. What we're doing is bringing a report to Property and Personnel and to Community Resources later in the week, which sets out the implications for the services within those committees' remits of the COVID outbreak. For several reasons. One, it's important that members know what's going on, which is, very important. But also, there are significant financial implications for the council, and these are getting picked up. So what will happen is that one report's coming to this committee about what Property and Personnel have oversight for. One will be going to Community Resources on Thursday. Both the pickup from both of those will be going along with the services covered by Policy and Finance to Policy and Finance on Monday next, which will pick up the overall implications for the town council, but most importantly the financial implications. And then quite probably we'll take the whole caboodle to council at the end of the month, just so that there is an overarching statement of where we are, what's going on, and the way forward. So that's the sort of backdrop, members, and I hope the report's pretty self-explanatory, but there's a couple of areas that, well, one particularly I wanted to sort of just highlight, and then I'm happy to answer questions. But the most important one really is the getting back to the office and how do we manage that. Well, as you'll have picked up earlier, we've started that process already. The museum staff are back in working on a museum documentation project, and one of our apprentices is also back in the office. The A-team obviously have been working, and the caretakers all the way through the lockdown period anyway. What are the next steps? What we'll be looking at are two factors, which is the strategy that's outlined here. One of them is the need to be in the office to do their work. That's one key factor. And the other key factor is those who are to get those back to work who have got the worst working conditions at home. So they're really struggling to work at home. After that, we'll look to roll back the rest. There is an issue. Whilst social distancing stays at the level it is, we will struggle to get everyone back into the Manor House in the immediate future. Fortunately, that in itself is not a problem because many of us have been working quite productively from home. So we'll be able to use rota systems and things like that for people that need to go in. Whilst some of the offices are fine, the issues then start to become more problematic when we have the shared facilities such as the toilets, such as refreshment areas and so on. So it's all in hand. We are working towards it. I pretty much know where I'm going next on the next tier to come back, and obviously the question you perhaps most want answering is when does the Manor House reopen to the public? There's two parts to that. One part is our general reception and the second part is the museum. The first part is the general reception, and we are looking at the arrangements that we'll need to have to do that. We've already got one of those guards that we've acquired, so that's not a physical security guard. I hasten to add, one of their plastic guards across the front of reception. But we need to be able to control access to the building. So we'll be looking at that and trying to come up with the best risk assessed arrangements for the way forward. The museum is a bit further down the line. And I think when we've got the first bit in, then we consider how we could control the museum. It gets picked up on Thursday at Community Resources, but what has been positive is that the new museum website seems to have been very popular and used well. So it may be that that's helped. The two have worked well together. So the rest of it, I'm happy to answer questions on. I don't, it's written there in black and white, so I probably don't need to go through it all, Chair. So I'm happy to answer questions across the report.
Do we have any questions, councillors? I'll take that as a no, Peter. So we'll move straight on to 7.3.
Sorry, Chair, can I just say that there will be the opportunity to pick this up as it goes through the cycle as well for members. So this will all fit together like a puzzle to end up at council. So yeah, because I think it is the overall picture that's probably the most important, and that members will get to see that how it's emerging when the Policy and Finance Committee papers go out tomorrow. Yeah. So that'll give you an idea on the finances. I won't give you a sneak preview tonight, but but they will be out tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Moving next on to 7.3, the Keystone Centre.
Yes, very briefly, but this is actually a very major item that's looming for the council. There's an extraordinary meeting of council on the 18th of this month, which will hear the results of the feasibility study and look at the initial design work for the new Keystone Centre, together with the timetable, etc. So it will also look at the delegations that you'll need to give to get the project going. And this is the sort of moments where you really do need to make your final plunge as such, because after that we will be committed. At the moment we've spent significant money, but not the bulk. The major expenditure then comes at this point, so you need to be happy. So that's what that meeting will focus on. Can I please encourage members to come, because it is one of our major capital projects, and in amongst lockdown it seems odd that we're cracking on with this, but there's a really good presentation for you to see, and important decisions to move forward.
Thank you, Peter. Item number 8, finance.
Yes, Chair. This is again another standard report that comes to you. The most exciting financial implications are actually the ones that are emerging for policy and finance. So I'm not trying to distract you from this, but I'm happy to answer any questions on it, Chair.
Do we have any questions, councillors? No, I think we're fine with that, Peter. Okay. We've got 8 committee budget monitor.
Sorry, that's where I was. Sorry, that's the one I just.
Sorry, yeah. Yep. Exempt business, there is none. So I would now bring this meeting to a close at 6:49. And I would like to thank you all for attending, and I would like to thank all the staff for their support throughout the meeting, and everyone for their patience through the little bits of technical issues I personally had, and just made it with 30 seconds to spare. So have a good evening, everybody.
And you, Chair.
We can stop.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Up the line.